new episode of this spiritually enlightened podcast, live stream broadcast. Hope you're doing well out there wherever you are in the world. Today I'm joined with my good friend Adi Asaya. He has his own YouTube channel. I'll pin in the title of this video. And we're here talking about spirituality and all things enlightenment. So Adi and I have known each other in person. He's met me in Bali. We were in Bali together. So today we're gonna explore some ideas and topics. And so without further ado, Adi, how are you doing? What's going on with you?
Yeah, doing good. I just woke up from a nap, so yeah.
Nice, nice. So tell us, how is your day? How is your life going in America since you've been back?
It's been going good. Um, yeah, just been making content, doing my thing. Um, Recently been messing around a lot with AI.
Okay. So you said that you started doing Shambhavi Mahamudra. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I guess I was very sort of devoted to my spiritual path as a whole, and I didn't want to, and so because of that, I thought a lot of my bliss was coming from the path itself, but and it was in some way, but I realized that I need to sort of also just follow my own bliss, follow my own sort of thing. And so that's how I realized that if I combine Shambhavi, combine my own techniques, combine Anapanasati, just combine a bunch of stuff, that I'd be much better off. So yeah.
Okay. I noticed that you've gotten a little bit fat, a little bit chubby in the face. So have you been eating
Um
good food?
no, I don't think I'm chubbier. Maybe a little bit, I don't know.
Maybe it's just me.
Sh- Shambhavi definitely does reduce your metabolism. It's very calming. So if you eat the same amount of foods, you will look a little bit, could potentially look a little bit bigger. Um, Maybe I'm a little bit chubbier temporarily just right now, but yeah.
So are you still eating a vegan diet or plant-based diet?
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. And so last year, 2025, we you came to Bali where we were all in Bali. So take us back in time, tell us your experience of meeting me and the whole Bali experience.
Yeah, that was interesting because it was in quite a little bit of a low in my life, but it was fun. It was interesting getting to go to a different place and very very magical place. I kind of wonder what Leo's up to now because I think I saw his Instagram doesn't exist anymore, or at least I couldn't find it. Maybe that's just on my end. But
Mm.
yeah, Bali was good. It's really fun. You, me, and Abel. We had some good times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So why did you not become a monk? After Bali, you thought about becoming a monk and going living with the monks. So why didn't you do it?
Well, I thought about it many times before, um, and I had lived with monks, but ultimately, it's along. I also am not following that path in its totality anymore. I've taken things that are good from it, but yeah.
So what are you doing now in United States?
Um, so I've set up this whole AI system to help me make content. It's really interesting, quite interesting. With Claude, you can actually do a lot of stuff to automate a lot of stuff. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much that.
Nice, nice, nice.
So,
Okay. What was your intention of coming on here and chatting with me?
didn't really have an intention per se. I suppose yesterday I was feeling very dynamic in my energies, you could say, very blissful. So I go share that with Shiva a little bit, or go do some live streams, go do something. Um, and so that's, I guess, why I'm here. Um, explore spirituality, reach the masses, talk to people. I definitely feel like my energy has it's very interesting because it's become a lot more calm. And calmness is very good, and I always kind of knew that I needed that kind of calm balance to the dynamic of the to balance out the more energetic, blissful kind of energy. Um, so I'm just kind of finding that balance, and as I'm finding that balance, I want to help other people find that balance. And so I've made a whole bunch of websites and all sorts of stuff, and
Uh-huh,
um,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
so that's, I guess you could say that's why I'm here.
So the question in everybody's mind is, who's more spiritual, you or me?
Well, it's not in my mind. It's quite a, so, like with spirituality, we all have thoughts. So we all have thoughts, and we can assign each thoughts to a certain vibration. So if my mind is stuck in who's more spiritual or less spiritual, or if my mind is stuck in a vibration that resonates with hates or fear or anger, those are all certain vibrations. If my thoughts are resonating with love, bliss, peace, and joy, those are all different vibrations. So the goal of spirituality is to raise your vibration, you could say. And the thing is also is that when that vibration raises and when those thoughts are very high, also in those higher realms, life is a lot more fluid and a lot more dynamic and a lot more open. So when your thoughts are in some certain place, then your mind is trapped and it can't see reality as it is, as it can't see truth. It can't see certain things about reality. Um, yeah, I just woke up from a nap. I'm not gonna lie. I
No problem, no problem.
when I when I take naps, I like wake up and I'm just like disoriented because I sleep very deep. So I'm like still trying to figure out like where I am in space and time right now. So that's
So
but that's essentially, yeah, that's like part
tell
of the
us
philosophy.
tell us in plain terms, what is spirituality all about?
So spirituality is about the accumulation of energy. So we have mental, we have physical, and we have spiritual energy. Spiritual, you could say spiritual energy, or you could say spirits. You could say we're a mind, a body, and a spirit, or you could say we're a mind, a body, and we have our emotions. You could say we're mind, body, and energy. So spirits, energy, emotions, all sort of the same thing. So the goal of spirituality is to increase in energy of the mind, of the body, of the spirits, or you could say of awareness in all those arenas. Um, yeah, that's the goal.
Have you become enlightened?
Um, I that's not really a it's not really a thought that I think about. Yeah, it doesn't it just doesn't arise.
So
So
you are enlightened or no?
I wouldn't say that because also for somebody who's not even spiritual, that thought also would not arise. So for somebody who's never embarked on the spiritual path, that thought would not arise. So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm enlightened. Yeah, it just doesn't arise. It's not like any complicated philosophy. I'm just saying that I don't think about that.
So, do you have thoughts?
Yeah, so this is the thing, that when you're trying to increase the energy, you could say, of the mind, that awareness is 1 degree of energy that you can enter into. Concentration is awareness is a more powerful, more potent form of awareness. So as you become aware, moments, and that awareness is increasing, it enters into concentration. So when your mind is in a state of concentration, then thoughts are not going to, extemporaneous thoughts are not going to be arising so much. Um, and then on the flip side of that, you can also ideate or contemplate upon something like an idea, which also helps to kind of quiet those thoughts of the mind. Um, yeah, I kind of forgot you were asking maybe if I think thoughts. I think I still do think thoughts.
Okay. Just a reminder, my friends, if you're here, you can ask a question via super chat. So donate, and your message will be read out loud. So any questions that you have, that's interesting. That's a dynamic we have here. So you have thoughts, and you don't think that you're enlightened or that thought doesn't arise. How would you consider yourself a spiritual master?
Um, well, I'm not a spiritual master. I'm a spiritual teacher.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not messy. I'm maybe some other professional player. I'm not like God or enlightened, but you'd still want to get a teaching from, somebody who's maybe like I don't know. Do you know any soccer players who?
Ronaldo?
Okay, yeah. Let's say Ronaldo's better than Messi. So I'm not Ronaldo, but let's say I'm Messi. So you still would want to get teaching from Messi. He might not be the best soccer player in the world, but do you want to get teaching from Messi or from some guy down the street? You want to get teaching from Messi. But yeah, and it's also just more practically. I've been on this for 10 years, so it's helpful to get some tips.
Do you teach women? Do you have women students?
Why not?
Okay. So who do you teach, and how does this process of you teaching happen?
um, well, pretty soon here, I'm going to go to an event here in San Diego. Hopefully, I'll meet some people and start to grow a localized spiritual community. But if somebody wants to learn, they can message me. I did have some coaching on my site that I made, but I've realized I probably don't want to pay for that, at least at this moment in time, or make people pay for that. But my videos will always be also my teachings, and I'm also gonna do retreats. So there's lots of ways that people can understand spirituality better.
Do you have any questions for me?
Um, no, I'm just kind of going with the moment right now. I like to keep it open, I don't want this to sound too formalized or anything. I'm not trying to interview you or anything. Just flowing. But nothing comes to mind right now.
What do you think about my channel's growth and success?
It's good. It's good. It's very good. Your streams are going very well. You have 200 people watching right now, I think. Can I open the chat somehow? I don't know how to open the chat here. Maybe I can do it online. Yeah, it's great though. You're doing a very good job, Shiva. You're doing a
Thank
very
you
good
very much.
job. Um, yeah, I remember I saw you got lots of subscribers one live stream that I tuned in, and it seems like every live stream you're doing very well. So it's great.
So why are you vegan? Why are you eating plant-based foods only? Why don't you eat animals' corpses? I thought that was good.
Yeah, yeah, it's very good. Um, the reason you don't want to eat, so what I was speaking to earlier is that we're trying to increase in energy, right? So if we want to increase in energy, the meat products, these foods are very dense. And so we're not only trying to increase in energy, and what I mean by energy is not just mass. It is both the amount of energy and it is its dynamism. It's how much is there and how energetic is it. Meat could add a lot of mass to this bean, but it can add a lot of dynamism. And the 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 sattvic food, the vegetarian food, adds can add just as much mass, and it's very light and easy. And so, yeah, it's very good to consume those things. Yeah, sorry, I'm just still kind of recovering from my nap, but that's the essence of it.
Understood. Understood. What about sexuality? Do you think you can get married or have sexual experiences on the spiritual path?
Yeah, for me, I think I want to have lots of many beautiful women around me. I think beauty is great. I think that appreciation of nice things, aesthetics, elevates the mind. But I don't want to have lots of beautiful people around me, beautiful energies. Beauty everywhere, inwardly and outwardly. But when we over engage in the sexual activities, it's not following the principle, the practice of brahmacharya, which is the correct use of energy. So when you're constantly releasing your sexual energy, then your energy is not going to be able to be utilized for higher spiritual pursuits. So for this reason, you want to be very moderate. In my world, in my optimal world, I maybe have some wife or something, but I would only have sex with her if I wanted to create offspring, if I wanted to have a child. And that's also in the Catholic Church. You could say that's their teaching that sex for its intended purpose is to create a child. And so if you are going to use sex properly, if you're going to utilize the correct use of energy and use that energy that's not utilized for sex for higher means, then that's the optimal way to do it. So
Some people are commenting on your necklace. You have a demon necklace. What is that? Are you worshiping the demon or a devil with that necklace?
this necklace, I assume, no,
Yeah.
this is a pratik. So the swastika in the middle actually is an ancient Hindu symbol, and the it's two triangles superimposed on each other, which are also is an ancient Hindu symbol, which represents the downward triangle represents going within, and the upward triangle represents service to the external world. So it's related to the internal and the external world, and it's like a mandala for enlightenment, I suppose.
So we'll wait to see if we have any questions. With super chats or donations, send your questions. They will get read out loud. And do you ever plan on going back to Bali, or what's going on there?
Um, I don't think so. I don't think that there's anything there for me, and maybe that would change. I still keep in contact with Reese. He's a really good guy. Um, I don't. But I'm very happy with everything here. Actually, I have a new setup that's maybe if people would turn their screens, they could see it's a little bit like yours that I'm going to use for streaming with a little monitor in the back. Um, so yeah.
Some people have commented that you have very low energy. What is your response to that?
I just woke up from a nap, and I don't know what they mean by low energy. Um, so you could look at energy. There's a couple of different axes, I suppose, that you could perceive energy. You could perceive energy as very calm, as very uh, anxious. You could see energy as very energetic, as very peaceful. So there's many axes which you can understand energy. So I just woke up from nap. That's maybe a little bit of what is coming off.
Okay.
So yeah,
Are you gay? People are asking here if we're
no.
gay. You're not gay? Sorry, guys, he's not available. So ask your questions, send your text to speech messages, send your donations. We'll read the answers. So if you were to give some advice on meditation and instruct people that are beginners on meditation, what would you say? How should they meditate?
These comments. How to meditate. So the first I would recommend people. Firstly, I'd recommend people to concentrate the mind. So anapanasati is the best for this, and done properly, it's done moment to moment. So carefully, you follow the breath. You feel it coming in, and each moment you try and catch it closer and closer and closer. People don't teach it and don't teach it like this properly. It's meant to be done moment to moment, and it's meant that when you're practicing it, it's supposed to be a constant returning of attention and constant refining of that sort of concentration. And when you do that, you'll enter into what's called these jhanas, or this meditative flow, this meditative absorption. So that's very, very good as like the first, as a first sort of practice in order to develop powers of the mental power. And with mental power, you can align, you can channel that mental power towards a mantra or an idea. For example, this idea of infinite love, infinite consciousness is all there is. It's a very, very powerful idea. It's the highest possible idea you can conceive of. And when you concentrate on that, that's how you don't just waken up and uh, accumulate energy, as we were talking about earlier, in the mental sphere, but you can channel that mental energy towards that idea, and that's how you begin to awaken the spiritual energy as well, the emotion, the energy, the spirits, something a little bit subtler than just emotion. That's why we use the term spirit or something else. Um,
Okay. Somebody asked you here what your body count is, and do you think that matters?
um, what is my body count? My body count's quite high. Uh, it's maybe it could be like 20 probably. And I think, does it matter? Um, I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit more. For women, I would imagine it maybe matters more. There definitely is an energetic sort of interplay that occurs when you are having intercourse with a woman. And so you have to be conscious, and you have to be vigilant about who you are sharing your energy with. But yeah, I obviously wasn't always spiritual, and had a lot of fun when I was younger. So that's the gist of it.
If you were a girl, would you be interested in me?
It's a kind of a weird, weird question.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. I think I understand why the comment section has must have gay on their mind. They're picking up some vibrations from you or something.
So we're waiting for some questions to come in. Ask your questions. We'll be happy to read it out. Have you been to any Indian temples?
Mm, that's a boring question.
Okay.
Trying to align my energies, wake up from this nap. It's still
Okay, it's time for you to ask me some questions.
your comment section is crazy, though. Okay, um, so I want to understand. Yeah, I remember you briefly mentioned one time that you imagine lots of people speaking from in front of lots of people one day. So I want to understand that vision. I want to clarify that vision, or rather, I guess I would just say, where are you? I want to understand where you headed. What do you What do you think about for the future?
I just want to be successful. That's it. That's all. In whatever I do, wherever I go, I want to be successful. I don't have a specific vision. I want to keep it broad, just success in any and every way, just successful.
Okay.
What else?
How do you think you become successful?
When you're not talking, please mute your mic because there's some static noise in the background. So just mute your mic while if you're not talking and it goes away. How will I become successful? I will just continue live streaming and success will follow me. Yeah, I think it's fixed. I don't want to whatever you did. Yeah, that's how I'll become successful. I'll continue live streaming every single day. First part-time live streaming, then full-time live streaming. And we'll grow.
Yeah, so I think I'll join you with that, and I mean I'll also be live streaming, and also Swami Turbo was wanting to take over this other spiritual server, which had gotten quite big, and but he's now kind of joined my project, and so we're planning to make a sort of spiritual super server where content creators can come and make their areas within the server. And so I'm going to be creating some sort of field around me and around Swami. And so I realize that you're also a spiritual seeker and you're doing your thing. So I don't know if you're, I don't know how our worlds are going to collide, but nevertheless, I think that we're going to be able to all grow faster. There's sort of right now, there exists some sort of general streamer community which is related to general things. You have these very popular streamers, Clavicular. There's a whole bunch of names out there, and there are more localized ones For example, I used to play a lot of this video game called League of Legends. So you would have streamers for League of Legends, and there was a sort of community around that. I haven't seen a community which is centered around this for spiritual streamers or for spirituality, but I think that that can arise if people have the intention, have the willingness. I don't think there's any reason that it can't exist. You know, Elon Musk talks about this idea, which is a little bit different, but it's also same in some way, where he mentions that things don't happen until people do things. Like people think that inventions just come or things just happen. Time moves and so things inevitably happen. But actually, unless me, you, and a couple of people make this happen, it's not going to happen. But it could happen, it really could. So I think that that's what we can do, is making some sort of spiritual
Yep, yep.
uh, atmosphere, spiritual community. Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good thought. Moving on to Dr. Rob. Do you think Dr. Rob is mentally insane and needs psychic evaluation, or do you think he's a mad genius and a comedic genius?
I think that, uh, you know, um, I don't mean to condemn you too much, but that's what I'll do. Is that this energy um, of whether you want to call it drama or whatever you want to label it, but intrinsically the energy is what it is. It is it's a little bit negative. If we're stuck in that, then we're not going to be able to ascend and create this openness, this flowing, this energy that if we create this spiritual online community, which will happen, the things that I'm doing right now are quite incredible. And alongside Swami and alongside what's going to slowly build, regardless of how long it takes, if we get stuck in certain, you know, places, it's not going to be good. And that's why we need spiritual practice, and we need spiritual, because how does that work practically? How do we actually rise out of this sort of tamasic, it's this stagnant energy which clings to certain things, which is dense? We need to do these spiritual practices, and especially also the spiritual practices that I promote of no benefit to myself, but like, and you could just experiment with it. But there's certain things you can do that will take us out of any sort of um, yeah, because we want to, when our mind becomes positive, when our energy becomes positive, we see the potential of what is we can possibly create. And I can maybe speak a little bit more on what that really means, because when Jesus says that we can bring heaven down to earth, that is literally quite real. And so,
Okay. Okay, but you didn't answer my question. I asked, do you think Dr. Rob is clinically insane and needs psychiatric evaluation, or is he a comedic genius? I wasn't asking you about my opinion or whatever, energy, whatever.
well, that's my response. That's all I could say on that.
So you choose not to answer the question. You want to avoid the question?
No, I don't want to avoid the question. But it's again speaking to this sort of tamasic energy which we've developed.
Okay, so you think
So,
I got it.
sorry, you cut out.
No, continue.
Um, yeah, I mean, I could continue about uh, what this thing is that we want to build within us and around us, because if that's what you're referring to, because it is really, it can be something quite interesting. Like we have our consciousness, our individual consciousness, and when we embark on the spiritual path, we begin to see our consciousness as like a canvas which we can paint on. And so we can paint anger, hatred, envy, lust. We can paint bliss, love, peace. And so we can begin to paint on this canvas. And eventually, as we develop further, we realize that 2D canvas is actually not even a 2D canvas, it's a three-dimensional canvas. And we can then begin to, enter into these more subtle uh, I hope it's easy for you to understand, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
enter
No
into these
problem.
more subtle energies,
Okay.
and it's beautiful. And when we're lost in low vibrations, it's to know, um, it's to harm nobody but ourselves, and especially. And I think Sadhguru talks about this. You
Yeah.
know, um, yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is Dr. Rob has low vibrations and tamasic energy. I got you. I picked up the answer. Okay. Thank you.
Well, that's part of it, but it's also, I suppose, which what I didn't speak to you directly was that these is that when we have to watch where our mind is, and so if our mind is consumed with these topics, then it's not it's bringing us down
At
vibrationally,
Lucifer underscore Wolf
unfortunately.
underscore 664 donated $2. Is that Jesus Christ on YouTube? Or twin brother?
Yes. The answer is yes. Okay. So we want to move away from negative energy and move towards positive energy. I got it. I got it. If you want to ask a question and make it say it out loud, just like that, then please donate and say or ask whatever you want. We'll appreciate it very much. So, do you play video games? Do you think video games are spiritual?
Actually, I think video games can be spiritual. Um, you're entering into a state of concentration, of mental flow, if you're especially playing something which is more competitively orientated, like the ancient Greek philosophers, other people like that. They understood that competition was a way to seek the divine. I think that there's other quotes that like when you're in the midst of sports, that you're closer to God than in a temple or something like that. So obviously, video games are not a sports, but it's it's is connected to that sort of that energy. Um, so it's very, yeah, it's very um, it's not always bad, but it can also be used as a time waster. So some discernment, I suppose.
Um, what about Jesus? Do you believe in Jesus? And do you think he was yeah? What do you think? What are your thoughts on Jesus?
The more I've read him, it's very clear that he was really that his teaching and his philosophy was so Eastern. He said, "Me and the Father are one, and you're going to join with me. It's all one unity. Um, you're supposed to eat his body and his blood, which is this Eucharist, which is you're supposed to unite. It's very spirituality is if we're looking to unite with God, with if we're looking to, yeah, it's all one, really. So Jesus was also all about that as well. So it's very, very good teachings.
Do you think people have a misunderstanding of what Jesus is, and the Christians? Do you think they have a misunderstanding of what spirituality is, even?
Yes, yes, many of them, because ultimately, really, the real problem is that spirituality, especially in the West, is no longer spiritual at all. That these sort of non-denominational churches, or the vast majority of Christians, they're really just attending a sort of social club. Um, and I've experienced this myself. I think that there are a few, especially of like mainline Protestant denominations, or other Christian denominations besides those which are mostly predominant in the West, which yeah, so most of those they're mostly social clubs. So that's really a big issue
Mm.
that's I've experienced for myself.
So I just want to comment on some confused people in the chat. Somebody asked me a joke comment with a super chat asking if I'm Jesus or whatever. And obviously that was a joke, okay? It was a joke comment. And if you can't read between the lines, you need some serious looking to do, okay? So that was a joke. And what do you think about Islam?
I think that I think Islam has a lot of very good things about it.
Your mic is really choppy now.
I think that it's
Your mic is
it's
choppy.
very good that I like that they are very disciplined, that they really respect their prophets, that they really enforce strong spiritual discipline and people. But the problem is that they take it too far to a degree where um, it's actually law, right? I think that it would be actually beneficial, even in the West, for there to be laws which would ban things which are extremely harmful for us, which we would or would not maybe find in a natural state. You know, maybe these things wouldn't exist, like pornography, certain drugs, whatnot, maybe even alcohol. I think that would be great personally, for those things to be banned. But when your law is too tight, that's it's not beneficial, because well, there's things I need to contemplate upon more, but I see quite clearly that the Western system has been very advantageous. This openness, in many ways, it's been very advantageous. Of course, it has its downfalls as well. But Islam, essentially, it encroaching upon the West is unfortunate because, you know, especially like in England and other countries, it's ever growing, and there's going to be some problems that are going to arise from two large populations existing in one place with conflicting views upon how society should be governed.
Do you have any questions to ask me? If you're here and if you have a question to myself or my friend,
Oh, I
please
can't
write
hear
it
you.
out. If you're here and if you have a question to my friend or myself, please ask
I don't know
and
if
we
that's
will
on
be.
my side or what, but
I think that it may be on your side. It's on your side. Swipe down, click on
oh, it might be
the,
on my side.
yeah. Swipe down, click on the little Bluetooth, not Bluetooth, but uh, AirPod. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. We're gonna wait for my friend to join back again. He restarted his phone. 1 second. Oh wow. Well, he just decided to quit. Yeah. He just texted me, said, I'm done for now. So yeah, yeah. That's gonna be it for our friend for this live stream and probably for a while. So I appreciate you joining us and check out his channel if you want. It'll be in the title. And yeah, we're gonna start another live stream with a different friend. Okay, one that doesn't leave halfway through and just says, I don't feel like doing this anymore. See it. Anyways, he's a good guy and he's a friend of mine. I met him in Bali. He's a spiritual seeker, somebody that I met online. All right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And yep, I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you. Thank you, IDSI. See you later.